You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening to Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the shit your daddy never knew. And joining me tonight, we've got a very special guest, Vicky Lee Valentino.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? How you feeling?
Very good.
Good? You have fun last night?
A lot too much fun last night.
A little too much? Cool. What'd you do?
I went to a birthday party in Hollywood, so I was supposed to go just, for a couple of hours, and yeah, I won't say what time I got home.
So it's like somebody that you like or somebody that you were trying to avoid? Which? No.
I went with a couple of friends, so
okay.
it was cool.
Awesome. So it was a fun night.
It was fun.
Because there are two times in life when you get that drunk. Mm-hmm. And normally it has to do with either you're really, really interested in getting drunk with that person, or you're like, okay, fuck this, I got to get drunk to avoid that person.
Right. Yeah, that's destructive behavior.
Look at her.
No, I was drinking purely to have fun with my friends I hadn't caught up with for a while. And yeah, so it was good times.
Awesome. So are you traveling a lot?
I actually go to Australia next Sunday.
Okay.
For a couple of weeks.
Glad I caught you.
And then I come back. So
okay.
Staying put for a little bit. I think I'm going to Europe in May with a fashion designer that I'm doing a bunch of modeling for. So, but I travel back and forth quite a bit.
How's work right now? I'm sure it's
good.
It's booming, right? It's got to be.
I only just moved to LA from Australia permanently in September last year. So I've kind of been feeling myself around.
So I caught you before you got jaded, which is awesome. Yeah. Awesome. We got her in here while she's still young and she's impressionable and she's still feeling LA out, and wait like 2-3 more years. And then what we're talking about will bear no relevance. Mm-hmm. So our show topic tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is on perception. And it's funny because when I met you, we were at, what was the fashion show? Do you remember the name of it? Yeah,
it was for Academy of Kosher Art.
Okay.
And it was for the movie IndyCar that Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, that's right.
It was the production pre-production party.
Okay. Yeah, and Ryan Gosling didn't show up, fucker.
No. I was very disappointed.
I know, I was too. I was
he was probably at home with his wife and his baby.
I could just one picture would have made my night. Yeah, so it's crazy because we were sitting there we were standing there. I always say sitting, but I always mean standing. Just FYI, guys. So we were standing there, and you were walking around, and obviously you stood out and we were in a room full of good-looking models, but you had everything just done up to the nines. Like you had a great dress on, you had your hair done in this really awesome, super way, and you're pretty tall actually. So you're just kind of walking around like this little candle in the middle of a dark room. And I've seen this happen so many times with people. They start to hate, like they can't keep their mouth shut about it, or they can't figure out how to feel about things. So they just, and I think the natural inclination for a lot of people is just, they fall into talking shit. Mm-hmm. And so I was listening to this group of people kind of around me. I don't think I was talking to anybody specifically. And they're all like, oh man, I bet that girl's a bitch. And I was looking at you and I was like, no, I bet you money that she's the nicest girl in this room. And at some point you walked past me and I got to talk to you. I was like, hey, what's up? I'd really like to have you on my radio show. And you were just sweet as pie. You were the nicest girl. I turned around and I kind of snickered at everybody. And I'm like, it's so funny that people have these unfair judgments and perceptions. And I think a lot of times they make those up in their own head to be self-defeatist, so to speak. Uh-huh. I know if I was a guy and I put no effort into anything, I was a bit overweight and I didn't look good. Now, nothing, I done no self-development whatsoever. I wouldn't think in a million years you'd give me the time of day, and it's funny because guys, even guys on a slightly higher level would kind of feel the same way. It's intimidating. It brings to light how far you've fallen short when you meet somebody that's just like, you're like, fuck, that girl's too hot.
I find that so weird. I don't understand it. I feel like, is that coming from their insecurities, their own insecurities? That's why they want to judge.
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah, I guess people don't know what sort of guy you're into. I mean, I could be into like nerds or fat people. Okay, not fat people. Nerds. I don't really date models. I don't date models because I'm going to stereotype them now. Just with my experience, they're kind of like, I don't know, they're missing something that I like, or they spend, more time in the mirror than I do, or that kind of stuff. So I think it's really funny when people judge you because the typically good-looking guy, sort of, he thinks he's in, like that's it, like.
And it's funny because I get that all the time from people. I get that, kind of boilerplate. Oh, he's a pretty boy, so he's a douchebag. And I literally designed everything in my book, or not everything in my book, but one of the biggest hurdles that I had to overcome in the beginning was figuring out how people saw me, because I kept hitting these roadblocks, and I'm like, why when I hit on the girl do I not get her, and why does he get her, but everybody else in this group says that I should be the guy that gets the girl. And it took me a long time, and people go, well, A, you're intimidating, B, you're a douchebag, or not that you're a douchebag, but people would perceive you as a douchebag. Like, you're a pretty boy. Every girl in the room thinks that you're a player. Every guy in the room wants to fucking rearrange your face. And it was that perception that all of a sudden it was like, oh, wow. So every time I was then in an engagement, and of course from that point to now, I did a whole bunch more self-development. So the problem just got worse. But I had to learn how people saw me so I could walk up and immediately know how to attack a situation. Be like, okay, so he's, I'm not saying everybody, but 90% of people perceive me as this, this, and this. Cool. So now I know how I need to leverage myself, my personality, in order to combat those things before they can solidify those thought ideals.
Right. I think it's a difficult thing to change with men. Like, I've had it my whole life, throughout my whole dating life, really. Like, a lot of people a lot of men or guys will assume that because I've got the blonde hair and I have breast implants or whatever,
that you must be stupid.
I must be like, I don't know, like a tart, a slut, whatever they want to.
That's fine.
Box, right? So, and then they get to know. Yeah, they spend a little bit of time with me, and they're like, oh, okay, you're not that person. You're not that like girl that wants the sugar daddies. You're not that girl, especially over here in LA.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm very independent. I make my own money. I do everything, like with me. I'm not into like the rich, wealthy guys. Like,
you
I
hear
can
that,
marry
broke guys?
a 70-year-old
You got a
if
chance.
I want to, but I'm like independent.
Yeah, I feel you. And
so people judge me. People will be like, oh, she wouldn't date me. Like, I always find myself dating like broke musicians. Like, I'm not dating the rich guy driving the Rolls Royce. But
and I did some research on you actually before the show, and I found out that you date a lot of, like, you're a rocker chick. I would never know it, but like your Instagram literally says metal on it.
Yeah.
Like for one of your interests, and I don't know. I think I saw a picture of you and an ex-boyfriend on Google, and he was just very tatted out and super. Well, he wasn't super buff, but he was right in there. Was he a musician?
No, he wasn't.
So broke the mold on that one.
I guess, yeah. I've dated all sorts of people, like all sorts of people.
Well, that's another thing.
Sports players, models, like bodybuilders, skinny nerds, musicians, like.
So for our demographic, she said skinny nerds, guys. And that's another thing that guys really need to, be aware of. Sometimes women have a type, but 9 times out of 10 they don't. Which leaves a guy, a guy that's trying to vie for her attention. You make yourself her type, or make her decide that you're the type that she wants. And the only way you're going to get there is by doing yourself to the best of your abilities, not doing yourself in a nasty way. I'm talking doing yourself up, self-edification, building yourself into the best person that you can be, is the only way that you're ever going to, be confident enough and comfortable enough with who and how you are to maybe skip the awkward phase of trying to get your attention, which I can see would be, you're so easygoing though, but I'm sure that there are a lot of guys who don't even get to that place.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, like, it's quite funny because nowadays I'm usually the person that sort of goes up to the guy instead of the guy coming up to me.
Which is
So
a fucking thing
I will
that
stalk them. I'll be like in a wherever I am meeting them or whatever. and I'll have a few drinks, and then I'll get the courage to go and talk to someone that I find attractive.
For the record, this is the fucking dynamic that needs to shift. Men need to step off a little bit more. Women need to come forward a little bit more so we can meet in the middle. So guys aren't desperately flinging themselves at women, and women are always saying no and clutched up and, you know, in bitch mode. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is I applaud you for taking the first step in the evolution of society, or the evolution of dating etiquette, I should say. Mm-hmm. So you creep on them on Facebook, huh? Tell me about that.
No, I don't know. I don't creep on anybody on
Facebook.
No?
No creeping?
No. I'm so, when it comes to like Facebook and stuff, I post like photos and my status updates about me, but I don't even really go through the news feed unless I'm really bored. So I don't stalk even my close friends on Facebook. But I mean, like if I'm in a bar or whatever and I see a guy that I like, you know, like I'll make the eye contact. I stalk like that. So so I do that. But I'm not like I go to places that, you know, where they play music that I like. So when I do meet guys, we have a common interest a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. You know, we like the same music, or we like the same things, and that's sort of how I meet the guys. But it is funny. It is funny people's perception, you know. It's like, well, they think you're stupid, you know, if you've got blonde hair with fake boobs, or they think that if you work with Playboy, or if you, you know, like are a glamour model, then you must sleep with everybody and all that kind of stuff. So it's like they get scared.
I wonder if they're projecting how they would be if they were in that situation. Because it's funny. I'm not always sure that it's projecting their own. Maybe it is. Maybe that's exactly the definition, is projecting their own insecurities. But I find that, you know, it's like there aren't a lot of guys that get to interact. You know, like there aren't many opportunities for a guy like that to meet a girl like you. So the one time he sees her, he makes up a reason in his head why he can't, so that he can feel comfortable with going home and going, yeah, well, she was probably that anyway. So, because really he's feeling the pain and sting of regret that his balls didn't drop and that he didn't go out there and go, hey, you know. But it's scary, you know, as a guy. Like it took a long time for that adrenaline dump to kind of, and sometimes still, you know, you end up bumping into somebody, you're like, oh my God, you're like way hotter than I thought. And you get an adrenaline dump, your legs start shaking, and you're like, what the fuck am I going to say to this person right now? And all you want to say is, I think you're super pretty. Like, would you like to go out and would you like to grab a drink sometime? Well, that's like the one thing that you can't say as a guy. So, you know, the direct approach does work, and it doesn't in some respects. I mean, if you're desperately flinging yourself on a girl, it's really about the desperation behind it. But I've walked up to girls and said, hey, I think you're pretty. Would you like me to buy you a drink? Or can I buy you a drink? Or I'd like to hit on you for 2 seconds.
You actually say that?
That's my favorite line.
Uh-huh.
I'll walk up and I'll be like, especially if she's talking to somebody else, I'll walk up, and it works best in a group. I'll be like, would you mind if I hit on you for a few minutes? Mm-hmm. And, you know, because it's so direct. And if she has a boyfriend or there's anything, like, because I'm not in the business of you know, walking up to girls and then trying to seduce them and you know, fuck them out of relationships and stuff like that. Like, that's just crass and sleazy. And honestly, if you were to kind of get in with a girl the slimy way and wait it out until they broke up, it would be the same as you going in and going, oh my God, I totally respect that. What's he like? And then you guys end up fucking talking about him, and she goes, oh wow, he's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy. He actually stuck around and talked to me after the fact. That's the same thing as, you know, having the ill-intentioned, sleazy, slimy approach, or just being like a good fucking guy. And people were like, oh wow, Jerod, he's awesome, you know, or whatever your name is. Insert your name there. So yeah, it's just the world of dating is crazy because it's built up on perceptions. Mm-hmm. And it's so fucking sad because everything we do, we think about it first. And we go, well, and we overthink it. Or maybe we don't want to grab the balls to go do this one thing, to go hit on this girl. Or maybe we've overthought it to the point where we've made up, you know, because of one bad experience, we've made up an image of who she is. Mm-hmm. You know, and I've certainly, there were quite a few times when I hit on a girl who was, you know, exceptionally pretty, and she turned out to be exactly what these archetypes were kind of built after.
Right.
She turned out to be exactly what you would think a girl like that would be like. But then, you know, studying farther than that, I learned that I didn't just stop with, and it's so easy to give negativity when you get negativity. And I see so many guys that walk up to hit on a girl, she's a bitch, and they're like, fuck you, bitch, and they just walk away. And it's like, I'm like, wait, why is she a bitch? Why is she a bitch? She's probably been hit on all fucking night. She probably gets hit on every time she walks out. So what she wants is somebody to level with her. What she wants is somebody to do something different. And that's kind of that thing where you really have to put yourself in women's shoes and be like, dude, what if you were walking out, every step you took, somebody was catcalling you, somebody was trying to walk up and grab you, somebody was trying to, and it's like when all that is put into perspective, then what would you say to her? Put yourself in her shoes and be like, what would you want to hear right now from somebody? And then you just be cool. Just be fucking down to earth.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that, because I was out one time at a bar and I was being harassed. Like, people were groping me and just like just harassing me. And
isn't that horrible?
It's
I spent a night in West Hollywood
annoying.
once. Same shit.
And so I was waiting at the bar to get a drink, and I had been there for about 15 minutes dealing with all these like idiots, right? And they were idiots. And then this one guy comes up to me and he's like, you could just smile. You're such a sour bitch. You should just smile. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't come here to make your fucking night great. Like, no, I don't have to smile at you. And I'm just like dealing with all this shit right now with these people. So it's like, what? That was you see, had been watching me. And I'm like, you see me dealing with these people. Like, I almost slapped a guy who like grabbed me, And that's the first thing that you say to me? Smile? Like, what?
Yeah.
No.
And see, that's one of those pickup things. Like on it, like he might have just been a natural at it or whatever, but that's what a pickup artistry would teach you, is to walk up and pull shoot a dick comment her way. The hotter she is, the bigger the dick comment. And that would make her, an insecure girl would be like, oh, well, why doesn't he like me? Everybody else here is trying to fuck me, and he's fucking talking shit. And then she goes for it, but social intelligence has evolved such to this day that doesn't work anymore. And there are a lot of pretty girls who would just be like, fucking douche. So what I would do in that situation is walk up and pretend to be your boyfriend. I would just walk right up to you and I'd be like, hey, play along, it's cool. And I would get you a drink and I would walk you back to your friends, and then I would leave. And that's it. And see, the genius in that is after the fact, knowing that at some point I was going to get your number. Not right after, but just being a fucking stand-up guy. And if I don't, then I don't feel bad about it.
Right.
I'm like, cool, I did something good for somebody today. It's awesome.
Right.
But it's the same level. It's that social intelligence that she goes, oh, wow, that guy was fucking smooth. He picked up on the fact that I was being hit on, I was being aggressed or whatever, da-da-da. He just came in and fucking saved the day. Now you're going to spend the rest of your night thinking about me. Or maybe not, me specifically, but this is some methodology for you guys. Cool. So do you get, what's the most common misconception that people have about you?
I think, I guess that the whole thing where people think I'm like just there to date like rich people.
Yeah.
I'm like like money hungry. I want like to be a gold digger, all that kind of stuff. That is a big thing. I get a lot.
That stereotype's true behind the orange curtain, guys. That's where the Orange County line and Los Angeles line meet. Anywhere beyond that, you'll find that stereotype to be incredibly true.
And I mean, the thing is, I don't understand why people judge you and people put you in that like box, because I mean, there are the girls that are like that, and then there are girls that look that way that aren't like that. So it's like you can't just throw everybody under the bus because you may have seen like a blonde girl with fake breasts walking around Beverly Hills, and looking for a sugar daddy, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like I get that a lot over here, especially. Or people think that I'm fake. I'm not, like, I don't have any substance. And then I sit there or they feel they think I come from some rich family, all that type of stuff. And then I sit down and speak with them, and it's completely different. But so often I talk to people, and they're like, "Oh,
I totally had this idea."
That exact thing that happened with us when I met you. Yeah. So many people like, I thought you were going to be a bitch. I thought you were going to be like this and that, and I didn't think you'd want to give me the time of day. I'm
Oh.
like, I'm like, okay. But I guess.
Wait, were you stalking me in the bar?
Me, no.
No?
What do you mean?
You didn't think I'd give you the time of day?
Oh, no, I was
Were you
saying that as
creeping?
like a generalization. Like, people
Okay.
think that I wouldn't give them the time of day.
Okay, so you weren't
I wasn't,
specifically.
not about you.
No.
It's not always about you.
I need to get more tattoos, guys. I need to get more tattoos, and I need to learn how to play the guitar. And
Yeah, that would help.
It probably would. I tried to learn how to play guitar, just not my thing.
Uh-huh.
I stick to what I know, what I'm good at. I'm good at writing, or at least I think I am. I don't know. We'll get some user comments in here, but yeah. So it's crazy to like think about all just the wild world of assumptions and all of the different things that we make up in our head.
Exactly. Assumptions are the biggest mistake a human being can make. About everything, but especially when it comes to dating, especially. Like, and I think it is a lot to do with people's insecurities, because they've either had a bad experience with a girl who looks like me or something like that, or they're just lacking confidence. So they create this story in their head. So they're already creating this like negative stuff that hasn't even happened, that's like not even true. It's like, why do you even want to think about that? Like, well,
and confidence comes through experience, and I talk about that in my book too. I have a whole section on confidence and why that's important, and how to find it, because a lot of guys, I mean, I heard that at a certain age you just kind of came into it, and it's true to a certain point, like your brain does fully develop. But at the same time, like I've met guys who just, confidence comes through experience. You learn to be, if you were, out on a river rafting trip and it was your first time, you'd probably be scared that you're going to drown, but after the 50th river that you've been down, you're going to be like, okay, cool. You're going to be teaching other people and showing other people. And it's the same thing. Like after you've been around enough women, you're going to go, oh, wow. Okay. So, maybe I shouldn't, make up a perception in my head. We got a caller. So let me take this real quick.
okay.
Caller, you're on the air. Hello? Caller? No, there goes that.
John?
No, he ran away. I'm sure he'll call back. Yeah, and it's, it's crazy because you do get an idea. There is a certain perception that you get just being around that experience. You're going to go, okay, the perception that you'd get is you don't know. And you're going to go, well, let me just walk up and talk to this person before I make any judgments. And the other thing is just having the balls to try and being more concerned with making her like you than having her, hoping that she likes you. I'm going to walk up there. I'm likable. I know what I've got to offer. Hey, how are you? Would you like to engage in some energy, back and forth, as opposed to, I'm going to walk up there and I'm going to hit on her. I hope she likes me. And, I hope she's not a bitch, and man, fuck, she's going to be a bitch. And, I probably don't make enough money to be around her. And it's like, why don't you just like walk up there and see how charming you can be in the next 5 minutes? Just see how many different things that you guys can share back and forth that are going to make her smile.
That's exactly right.
And keep that as a win, Oh man, I made her smile 3 times. Awesome. Bye. Like, fuck yeah. Then go do it to the next girl.
Yeah. See, like people like you are rare.
Well, people like you are rare.
The other thing is, like, if they feel like they don't make enough money or all that kind of jazz, they make up these lies when they start telling you shit that's like not true. Like they have this and that, they have a house here, and they drive this car, or like they kind of make up these stories because they feel like they need to be a certain way, and it's like that's a deal. That's a big no-no with me. Like
that's a big no-no with all women.
I'd rather you just said that you're like homeless right now and living in your car or something like that. I wouldn't judge them. I mean, I don't want to date homeless people, but I would prefer someone was honest and told me that sort of thing than, oh, I have this house over here and I drive a Lamborghini and blah 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 blah, and it's all just lies.
Yeah. Number one deal breaker for almost 90% of women that I've ever talked to, you'd be surprised to find that it's actually lying to them. This is huge. It's one of the things that you just really never want to do to a girl, because once you break her trust, it's done. She'll never look at you the same way anymore. And women like to nurture. So a lot of times, if you're not at your best, but you have the ambition to get to your best, women will see it as an opportunity to nurture you. And they'll actually, they'll still find you just as attractive as if you were already there. And again, if you were already there, then she's going to have a whole bunch of little perceptions in her head as to, maybe you're going to be a player, maybe you're going to do this, da-da-da, he's rich, and I'm attracted to him. That could be, and I've met girls who do the same thing. They're like, a dude that pulls up in a fucking Jag, and he's all dressed to the nines, and he's good looking. Every girl in the room's thinking, I'm not going to fucking go. I'm not going to be that guy's trophy for the evening, Hold on, we got another caller. Let's take this guy. Caller, you're on the air. Caller, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? It's always a bad connection. It's not us. It's caller. All right, I'm gonna end this. All right. Yeah, I don't know. So, right back to it. Where were we?
You're asking the wrong person. I have terrible memory. My short-term memory is like, I don't know.
Me too. And I always thought, I thought it was, I got hit in the head too many times as a kid, but I'm starting to think that maybe people are just some people like us. Hold on. Caller. Hello. Hola. Hello. All right. This just isn't going to work. Okay. So, I wrote down a whole bunch of little things here. And, that's, we were talking about lying, and number one deal breaker for girls is being lied to. And that's the reason that pickup artistry it's so deceptive. No, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of pickup artists out there who are great guys, I'm sure at heart. But what pickup artistry does is it kind of teaches you to lie to women in a way that makes you seem like you're cooler. Like there's a thing, it's called a DHV, a demonstration of higher value. So what you would do is you kind of like have other people talk you up, and then, that leads into exaggerating. So all of a sudden you've got a group of guys who really, are driving fucking Hondas home, who are talking themselves up. And it's funny because I've come to the conclusion that a lot of what we consider the LA archetype douchebag actually came from pickup artistry, because from 2000 to about 2010, we had all these guys out on Sunset Strip dressing in these loud, flashy affliction, like super, super loud, because pickup artistry teaches that too. And they're out there just hammering girls with lines and lies that they half believe will work. So you got these insecure, lying guys being told and taught to do this, and they're just, and they're out there just hounding on women. And it's like, I've met a few of them, and I didn't know they were pickup artists. But then once I learned what they were, I was like, oh, wow. So that was one of those D-bags. Okay, we're going to do this one more time.
Okay.
Caller. He keeps trying. It's good, but I just...
Is it the same guy?
Yeah, it's the same number.
Right.
I'm Ollie, can you hear me? He told me he was going to call in, too. I got his message on Twitter. Here.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Hola.
Hello.
There we go.
Hey, Jerod, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. You're on the air.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent right now. How are you?
Fine, thank you so much. I want to say hi to the gorgeous Vicky.
Hello, how are you?
Doing? Hi, Vicky. How are you doing? This is Ali.
I'm doing very good, thank you. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you so much. I'm a big fan of yours from Egypt. I want to say hi to you, and I want to say that you are amazing and very gorgeous and adorable. And we really adore your beauty and adore you so much. And I just want to show my support as I'm a huge and super fan of yours. And I want to say that you are gorgeous and so beautiful, really, Vicky.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. That's really nice. You made my day. You're a sweet man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I hope you can follow me on Twitter or something, because I'm a huge fan of yours, and you have millions of fans in Facebook. That's good. That's great that you are and Jerod.
I think she might have already retweeted you, bud.
Yeah, I think I did retweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you. I retweeted you today, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. That's you made my day. Really, thank you so much, Vicky. And I want to say that you are gorgeous, and I wish you best of luck of success and the more success to you and the more happiness in your life.
Thank you so much. You're really
Aw.
kind. You're really sweet.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Ali. Thanks for
You are
calling in,
too.
buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
All
Thank you,
right.
you.
Gerald. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
How nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's nice when people talk to you like that, like not in a sleazy way, like
Yeah, like, hey, baby, what's up?
yeah, like
How
oh
are-
you're so hot. I've seen you on Facebook and like
That's not sleazy.
I
That's
like
just
your boobs.
creepy.
But
Yeah.
like that was really sweet. That's nice.
That's
What a
funny,
nice
the,
guy.
the differentiations of genres. And one of the things that I found actually with prettier girls, especially when they're down to earth, is just being totally flat out blunt honest with them. Because there's so many people that are trying to, they make, when you look like you make everyone around you feel insecure, except for the people that are like really, truly fucking confident. So everybody in some way is going to internalize and deal with that sort of insecurity in some way by putting up a front or by avoiding you or, or by lying or whatever it is. You're going to have to deal with that. And I found that sometimes a pretty girl, the more direct and honest the compliment, the better. That's the easiest thing to do, is just to walk up and be like, I think that you are amazing and beautiful. And one of the better comments that you can give a girl is tell her that she's genuine or she's down to earth. Something internal, because you're called beautiful all day long, but what else did you notice? That's the easiest thing to notice. It's on the outside. So what else is that guy going to notice? And then spin from there.
Right.
So for our guys out there, sometimes the hotter she is, the nicer the compliment. It's just the delivery that matters. Don't do it in a desperate way or a clingy way. You can just say something very, very simply, and then always compliment something on the inside too.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
bring up subject matter, and that's another way to start to talk to somebody is to bring up something that you're doing right now. Oh yeah, I like your purse. I was thinking about getting my mom a purse for her birthday. And that's how you can find out if she's a cold, heartless bitch and doesn't care, or if she, oh wow, your mom, that's awesome. Then you get to start talking about your mom, and then that brings up a conversation with,
Right.
family, and then you talk about your dad, and then we just move on from there. So that's how you initiate a conversation with a pretty girl,
Right.
for the most part.
So I'm interested in this guy that had that perception of me. Was he one of your friends, or was he just a guy that you were standing with at the event that we were at?
Who?
No, the guy that said.
Oh
that
yeah.
said, oh no, she's this and that.
Oh no. So that person is not. I don't even know who that was.
Right.
Me and my friend were there, and my social media guy, and then we were introducing ourselves to a group of people, and that's kind of the group that we ended up clicking with.
Right.
It was just okay. We ended up in that geographical location, and then people were talking. But no, I didn't know any of the people that were saying that.
Oh, right. Because I
About
remember
you.
you saying it to me when you came up to me, and I was like, that's really funny because
I used that as a conversation opener, which
Yeah.
is brilliant.
yeah.
And again, for our listeners, like this is all stuff that you can find in the book, but we're obviously expanding. So, what were we gonna say?
What was I going to say? I was going to say that it's rare to hear it at that, like right then and there from a guy. Usually it's a girl saying something
Yeah.
mean, and then you don't really know that guys think that about you until after you've had like a proper conversation with them or met them a couple of times, and then they say, I actually never thought you were going to talk to me or this and that,
Yeah, I mean, guys from a very, very early age are taught to be confident, push that out of you. So, like, there are two types of guys. There are guys that either end up being fake on the inside and something else on the outside. So they either overcompensate, and they become all cocky and loud, but really they're not. They're just not comfortable, and they don't know how to be comfortable with themselves. And those same guys end up falling on the other side of the line sometimes, where they get insecure and they get real quiet, and they just don't they don't think that they're good enough. And then there's the other type of guy who goes, I'm me, and I like me, and I think I like where I'm at, and I'm going to go up and talk to this girl because, fuck it, I'm going to at least try. Mm-hmm. And I might not have a chance, but talking to her is going to be better than standing over here wishing I had.
Right.
You know, and it's crazy because, like I said, we do get nervous. Like guys, I don't think women understand. Maybe they do, because I'm sure women have the same nerves in a different way. Like when a guy comes talks to you, does it give you like a panic attack ever? No.
No, but I mean, like, but you still get that kind of, I don't know if it's like a nervous feeling, but it's kind of like, oh, because it's like kind of brand new. If you like this guy, you know, you get that kind of butterflies type thing, or you know.
See, we just get terrified.
You guys get terrified, but I haven't been terrified. I'm not scared of men. They don't. You guys don't scare me. I'm not afraid.
We're not like scared that you're gonna eat us. We're just like, it's like we're gonna walk up and we're gonna talk to somebody. It's rejection. It's fear of rejection. And
right.
I wonder how many women have had to deal with that. You know, because I mean, realistically, like even the girls on the lowest end of the totem pole still have a vagina, and that automatically sets them at a non-rejected, you know, place. I'm sure that there is some rejection there, but they're also not taught to pursue. So when would they ever get rejected?
Right. I think girls do get rejected.
Yeah, friend zoned or whatever.
I don't know.
Well, because I mean, when was the last time that you were like, hey, I'm going to walk up and talk to this guy, and I hope that he likes me, and I'm going to try and think about a bunch of different things. What should I say? What should I do? Okay, be this, be cool. Okay, not too much of this, but little, you know, how many times has that ever crossed your mind?
It never has.
Exactly. So
it never has. That's really funny.
It's always been a sorting process for you. Do I like him? So that dynamic is like guys are always taught, like, you got to be the aggressor, and women are always taught you got to be the receiver.
Right.
So maybe women don't, you know, what are they going to be rejected on? Like, oh, I don't think I'm pretty. It's like, fucking put down the goddamn Twinkie then. Or I guess that has to do with weight, not looks. But, you know, that's why women have, don't get me wrong, periods and childbirth suck. But you guys have, I saw this woman online, and she does this makeup course. And I mean, just takes these girls' faces and transforms them into something else. And I'm like, you guys have makeup. You guys have fucking breast implants. Like, if you don't think you're pretty, you can literally go out, buy a double D. And this is actually in my next book. This is a quote from my next book. You know, you can go out and you can buy a double D, and you can immediately substantially up your level of attraction. It's not like we can go out and buy muscles. Like, I would love to just be like, hey, look, I don't want to work out. I'm going to go out and just buy fucking muscles. But there's so many things that women can afford, and do to themselves cosmetically to become, you know, so much more attractive. And it's like, guys, we don't get that option. In fact, if we overgroom, then every girl thinks we're fucking gay. So, you know, yeah, we working out is a little easier for us, but I don't know if that's true. I've seen some fitness chicks online that are just killing it. I've invited some of them on the show. So guys, so for upcoming, I think in April, actually, we're doing a show. We're doing a bunch of shows on fitness, so you guys can get in shape for the summer.
Well, guys get implants still.
What?
You know, haven't you seen like guys get ab implants?
I've met one
they
person.
Get chest pics. They get like calf muscles. You know, like
what?
Yeah.
Okay, like I knew that existed in like the hypothetical sense that if you were that desperate and crazy, you could do that. But I didn't know like people actually did that.
Yeah, I've seen people with like calf implants and stuff.
That's disgusting.
And then I guess guys can do stuff to their faces too. So,
yeah, it's a little cosmetic.
I don't know.
I don't think it's as accepted.
No, it's definitely not.
With men,
I'm not messing with someone that's got ab implants.
Yeah, it's
not manly. Like, go to the gym and like.
And the only people I've ever seen do cosmetic things, like the one person I ever met with ab implants was gay, and I didn't know what ab implants were. I was like, wait, what? They did what? Like, they put a fucking thing in behind his ab wall and push him out. I'm like, don't put anything in my body. You know, like that just goes against every like male instinct, and even the male female dynamic. Like, women are okay with putting things in their body. Men, no, out. You know, even our junk is out. Everything we do is pushing outward and away.
Yeah.
So
that would be a deal breaker. Like, it's definitely not manly to have like. I mean, but each to their own. Like, I'm not saying that if you go and get calf implants or pec implants, you're a bad person, whatever. You know, I guess people use steroids to make their muscles look bigger and do all sorts of stuff. But I don't know. It would just be weird to know that my boyfriend has like ab implants or something.
That's not really
not-
him.
It's, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of not manly.
Yeah.
Sorry to all those people out there.
Well,
that have,
and
like,
maybe that is what it is with the masculine and the feminine. The feminine's very about bringing full and making things it's very much about blossoming. And when women get into a room, they start to fill the room with paintings and pictures and how can we make this better? And they're very nurturing and everything's more. How can we make this better? Whereas guys, we shed. We're the masculine is very empty. It's very void. We want to get rid of everything and less is more. So, when it comes to a guy, even in the masculine sense of it, maybe women are like, oh, why is he trying to fill himself full? And maybe there's that dynamic subconsciously. I don't know. Maybe it'll be socially acceptable someday. But for me, it's like, why just go to the fucking gym? Like, just go to the guy gym. And I like a lot of the, I don't mind hair extensions on girls. I don't mind when girls get boob jobs. In fact, I think they're great. I think that we should make them, we should cover them with insurance. Any girl who wants one should be able to have a boob job. I'm all for it. But when it comes to guys, it's just like, it's so fucking easy to lose weight. And we're men. We're born for this. We're built for this. And I lost weight as a kid. I was 50 pounds overweight at one point, and and then I just started working out, and that discipline is going to transcend from fitness into business into anything that you do. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I guess with women, you can't really kind of grow breasts. It's not like you can work them out or something. So, I agree with you. So with the body, like, you can change it. You can lose weight. You can, you can change your body shape. It's just whether you want to put the effort into it, and that goes into everything in your life. Like if you're going to be lazy and be like, say if you're like heaps overweight and you're going to be lazy and just get some like implant muscles put on.
Yeah.
I can imagine that type of person is probably lazy in all areas of their life. Sorry,
Yeah, maybe.
Like, put the effort in, like,
Somebody's going to cut corners,
It's
and that's
so
just
hard.
unattractive. Yeah. And like, I mean, in the same respect, like, besides the obvious scarring, but like if somebody just kept eating and then getting lipo and then eating and getting lipo, it'd be like, and a lot of it even has to do with attitude, but like the attitude that's going to come from a guy who, you're not going to find the attitude that's attractive in a guy who would think it was cool to get fake muscles. That he, you want a go-getter, a guy that's out there and he, fuck it, I'll do that. Like, any obstacle in life, like that's attractive to be around, and a guy who's going to be like, no, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to buy some fucking implants. Like, he's the type of guy that's never not going to put any effort into anything. So no hair plugs, guys, no implants, no facelifts.
no hair plugs.
Yeah, it's fucking,
No hair plugs.
no hair plugs.
What
Just
if
shave it bald and then get a fucking tan and work out your neck so it's proportional. Because one of the biggest mistakes that guys make, especially with early balding, is they'll be like, fuck it, okay, they shave it. Awesome. But then they got a skinny neck. And one of the fucking biggest tips for guys is make sure that your neck and jawline are fairly proportional. You don't want it to go too big. You don't want it to go too small. But I have neck exercises in the book, and you can actually dramatically change your appearance to women just by the thickness of your neck.
Really?
And women don't even know how attracted they are to that until you kind of test the theory out. And that's one of the things that women associate with youth versus like this is a strong male versus this is a young male who hasn't come into his own yet, is neck thickness.
Really?
As men get older, we thicken out.
Wow.
So a lot of guys in suits have this problem where they'll end up maybe they look good in the suit, maybe they don't, but in the suit they look really skinny because they got this thing cutting off right here, and it just highlights how fucking skinny their neck is. And it's just like, no. Okay, so just work on your neck a little bit, rotate your head around so that you don't hurt any vertebrae. But that's huge. And then, get a tan. That's big. For some reason, I had heard that it was a girl said to me once that guys look good tan, not just because it changes your skin tone and all that stuff, but because it reminds them of a guy working outdoors. And for some reason, that was more attractive.
Right.
I think tans just look better on everybody.
On everyone, yeah.
personally. I don't know if that holds any truth. Cool. So we're getting there. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I just thought it was funny about the hair plugs.
Yeah.
Because I've seen guys that have them, and you can't even really tell. But then I like shaved heads, so it's like I'm all about.
Yeah,
like,
shaving your head is
your
a
hair,
super masculine thing to do. You know, and anymore it's to us it's very intimidating. Like a guy with a shaved head, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, but for girls, they're all about it.
Mm-hmm. I think most of my boyfriends I've convinced to shave their head.
Because they were balding,
Yeah.
or because of the hair plugs? Just
No,
in
because
general.
I like shaved heads.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not dating then, because I have I look like a tweaker. Something about the bone structure just doesn't work for me. I look like I've been on a lot of drugs when I shave my head.
Do you have a weird shaped head or no?
Very good shaped head.
Okay.
It would be like if Eminem shaved his head. You'd be like, that just doesn't look right.
Right.
You know, I need the hair. Cool. So I wanted to run through no hair plugs, guys, ever. Just shave it. I wanted to run through this. So, you know, today's show is on perception. Perception is incredibly important, and don't neglect where you're, you know, falsely or maybe misrepresentedly perceiving something. And then also you need to be aware of people's perception of you. And then you also need to be aware of putting yourself in other people's shoes. So, I mean, I always compare it to building oneself. It's like building a business. And if you learn to do that, you're going to have a much, much easier time with self-development. Don't take it personally. It's one of the biggest mistakes people make is self-development. And they're like, oh, this is me. And then any sort of criticism or negative feedback they get, they take it personally. And it's like, once you start building a business, you realize that when somebody says, hey, I don't like this feature, you don't go, fuck you. You're going to deal with that button. You go, oh, wow, let me fix the, you know, let me fix how this machine works or how that button works for you. You know, and make sure that everything is in alignment with who you are. If you're out there and you want somebody to be attracted to you, you should be attractive on the outside as well as the inside. You know, have things, build yourself into something that's representative of who you are. And guys really fuck up with this one a lot of times because they'll end up building them, or they'll end up being a great person, and they'll be like, well, I'm a great person, so it doesn't matter. And nothing on the outside matters. And it's like, okay, well, do you nurture yourself? Are you building yourself? Are you a goal-oriented person? Are you, a strong person? Are you a confident person? Okay, awesome. So why don't you get something that's going to represent strength and confidence and put it on the outside a little bit? So that somebody, all the things that we're attracted to, like this cuff, for instance, it's an alligator cuff. It's cool looking, okay? But it also represents the hunter, the man. He came and he saw and he conquered. And then having wrist pieces is actually suggestive of greaves, which were used in warfare to protect your wrist from getting cut open when you were playing with fucking swords. Right. So again, it's very sexy because we subconsciously associate it with being a warrior. And then the next one we do is test, track, tweak. So do something, go out there, you talk to a girl, it doesn't work, awesome. Get her feedback. Talk to her. Why didn't it work? Just really seriously, like walk up after her and be like, hey, I'm not going to hit on you again, but what about that didn't work for you? Test, track, tweak. Just keep going through it until you get it right. And then you really got to learn to negotiate an honest answer. When you actually ask somebody, hey, what did you think? Don't pull that back in and start to internalize it and take it personally. When you really learn to go, hey, well, what did you think about that? Okay, so are you just being nice right now? Are you just saying this so you don't hurt my feelings, or are you being 100% true, or what did you really mean by that? And you have to learn how to negotiate an honest answer from people. This is going to help you incredibly in all areas of your life. That one helps in business as well. Don't take that personally. And then once you've got an idea of who you are and how you are, and then you've got a collective experience, you can really put those two together and you can learn how to countermarket. So when you walk up and you go, okay, well, 90% of people think that I'm a pretty well player, I'm a douchebag right off the bat. Okay, cool. 90% of people, you gauge the woman immediately. Like, I could tell that you're easy to approach, but some women aren't. You're like, okay, cool. So then you go through the process of putting yourself in her shoes, and then you find a connect. somewhere in that process, you'll find a connect. You go, okay, this is how I'm perceived. This is what I've got. These are the walls that I got to break down in her mind. And then this is what she's going through right now. And this is what I've got to break down, and then that's when you'll get that connect. So that's our show on perception, guys. I hope
God, it's good to be a girl.
Right?
That's like hard work.
There's a lot of shit that we have to do. And it's crazy because like women, men will complain about this, but fuck, we do all this. And women are, masters at bitching about, oh my God, I did my hair and my makeup and we do all this stuff, but it's like, no, it's equal. Men are, we have to work really, really hard in a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. The thing is, when men don't work, we get depressed. Most men are not living to their potential or meeting their potential. And it's a huge cause of emotional distress. And you'll see this a lot of times with guys that become self-destructive because they're not meeting their potential. And human beings in general, but, women seem to be in a whole different development plane. So, yeah. Right. And then cool, one last little tidbit of information. One of the techniques that I use on people to actually break down a lot of those walls is, and this is we've been talking a lot about the guys who may be at a development level that's down here. Well, when you get up and you start getting, more and more developed, and then you start noticing that resistance, like, you walk in your room, like, hey, what's up, da-da-da, and people are like, oh, wow, fuck this guy. Why is he so enthusiastic? Da-da-da, my life sucks. Why? And that's something that you'll encounter as you start to develop yourself more and more and more. So one of the things that I use is called a coaching technique, which is, it's what I do anyways as a coach, but a coaching technique is basically where you would walk out, you'd state the obvious about something, and be like, hey, I'm a douchebag, right? Da-da-da-da. But hey, let me show you something, da-da-da. And you start to teach them in some roundabout way. You basically disarm them, you capture their attention, and then you start to teach them something that maybe they wouldn't have ordinarily understood in the way that you could teach them. So for instance, a lot of guys will especially when their development level's high, they'll start bragging about what they've got and how they do it. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I got this, I got that. And that's a mistake, because you're going to isolate people from you. They're going to be like, well, that's fucking nice. This fucking asshole. So instead you'd walk up and you'd be like, hey dude, I got this fucking car and it's awesome. And I did this, and this to get it. And let me show you, I'll break it down for you. Or I used to do the same thing with fighting. I'd sit down and I would teach guys a few martial arts tricks, and they'd be like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden you've bonded with that person, and you've established yourself as a leader, someone they should look up to, but you didn't do it in a condescending, fuck you way. So. Right. All right. Where can people find you? What have you got coming up?
People can find me on my social media, which is on my Facebook, which is facebook.com/Vicky Lee's World, or Instagram at Vicky Lee _Valentino, or Twitter at Vicky Lee _V.
Okay.
And at the moment, I'm working on a few different sort of projects. I'm bringing out my own brand of lingerie, getting involved in sort of doing DJing stuff as well.
Really? DJ?
Yeah.
There we go.
And so at the moment we're rebranding a whole bunch of stuff and putting some things together, and so
woo. All right. So lingerie, DJ, the lingerie is not out yet, no?
No.
Okay. Well, when it is, we'll have to put up a link on the stuff. You gotta get a website, girl. Why don't you have a website?
I know people keep telling me this, but it's like,
do you know how hard it is? Like, so I book models on here all day long, or not all day long, but I go through the process of booking models, and I swear, I'm like, these bitches have Twitter, and I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna get through 5,000 pages of fan mail that you never check on your Twitter? Mm-hmm. I'm like, look, have a website, have a contact form, please, dear God. I know how to write an email that you'll open, but it's so frustrating getting a hold of some people.
True.
Good thing I met you, otherwise I wouldn't have. How many messages would you have had to sort through to find mine on your Facebook? I've
stopped checking the messages on Facebook because I have, I think, like 1.6 million people on my Facebook. So,
wow.
I've got like one of my agents is one of the admins on there, so he goes through and has a look sometimes. But there's so many messages, and it's always like stupid messages that people are writing to me. Like some of the stuff I read, I am so shocked by.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't want to have to deal with that kind of stuff. Like I'm not a porn star. I'm not, you know, and people send me these porn videos and all this kind of crazy stuff, or write this like crass shit to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Crass,
don't
that's
feel
a
like
great
I
word.
don't need to deal with that like when I go on and check my messages. I don't want that kind of energy in my life with all this like kind of
Yeah. So it
like rude talk to me. So, but then occasionally there's something good with the Facebook. But I mean, I also have a personal.
It's kind of the same
Facebook,
way
so-
with dating. There's all the shit, and then sometimes there's something good in there.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of have to be ready to engage, or you've got to be the kind of guy that can make yourself stand out in a crowd of shit.
Yes.
Cool. So people can find you on Facebook, Twitter, and then also look forward to Vicky's new line of lingerie coming up. And hopefully, if you listen to this show, you'll get to pull some of that lingerie off of a girl sometime, or buy your love girlfriend or future wife some lingerie for her birthday or something, Valentine's Day.
Smooth.
So awesome. That is our show for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Male Radio.
You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.